Bob time. Here we go. The beginning. The beginning of what? Do you remember? A storm. In the distance, thunder growls, long and low and not giving up. Reminds me of my stomach. Pre-breakfast. I test the air. Weird. Something isn't right. Julia! It's George rushing over. Hurry up, you need to get inside. George has an odd scent, like he's on guard. I've only smelled it a few times on him. I look up. The clouds have turned strange shades of green and yellow and gray, clustered together like rows of fat marshmallows. It's so ugly, it's beautiful. I can't stop looking. Clouds look like rows of fat marshmallows. The air goes still, like a cat before it leaps on its prey. Kenyani and Ivan and Kudzo are racing towards the gorilla villa. A fat raindrop hits my nose. It tastes wrong. How can rain taste dangerous? People are yelling, running, opening umbrellas, covering their heads with maps of the park. More drops. At the far end of the field, I can make out Akello herding Ruby along. Another drop. A dry one, like a pebble. Hail, George says. Julia, now! He grabs her hand. Rumbling, the sky boils and swirls. Bob, Julia calls. Come on! I move to leap off my perch, to run to Julia. I've done it 1,000 times. But this time, I lose my footing. I never slip. I am as nimble as Nutwit. But the rain, the hail, I let out a yelp as I land on Ivan's side of the wall, splat in the mud. Bob! Julia screams. He'll be okay, George says. I can smell Julia's fear and George's doubt as he drags her away. Torn apart. Noise. It's all noise. Noise that hurts. Noise like a massive truck bearing down on us. The power of its engine, the inescapable wheels, the relentless roar. Nothing to see, nothing even to smell, just the terrible sound of the world disintegrating. The next chapter is called No Way. And all it says is, I'm flying. Look at this chapter. Airborne. Not far, just into the nearby giraffe domain. Not high, just enough to buzz the top of the trees. Not long, just long enough to stop breathing. But I fly. I'm not alone. Half the world seems airborne. Trees, boards, bicycles, chunks of roofs, umbrellas, chairs, bits and pieces of life. It all levitates past like some horrible magic trick. Something hits my head. A toy truck, maybe? And I yelp in pain. And I'm terrified. So scared I pee myself. And I'll be the first to admit it. You try it. And see how dry your underwear stays. But still. Talking about peeing himself. I fly. Not like in the box with my brothers and sisters. Not like with the owl. This is different. This is me, Bob the dog, spending a moment as Bob the bird. Landing. It's over. I land. Hard. On my rear. And slide to a stop directly underneath Stretch, the oldest giraffe in the place. Thank goodness he knows all these animals. The roar, and by now I've realized we're talking a real live tornado, vanishes as quickly as it came, leaving a vacuum. A silence that hurts even more than the noise. Oh my gosh. So a tornado went through and just scooped stuff up and just threw it everywhere, and he was part of that. Bad dog. And this is why I'm a bad dog. Not bad dog, like I chewed your favorite slippers. Bad dog, like I'm not a good representative of my species, of any species. I don't think, Ivan, Ruby, Julia, are they all right? I've got to find them. That's what a hero dog would do. One of those guys on the Man's Best Friend show. Hero dogs dash into flames and dig into rubble. Hero dogs are fearless. Nope, not my style. What do? Bob, untamed, undaunted? I howl like a newborn puppy. Honest. I'm not hurt, banged up a little sure, but nothing major. And I don't howl for long, but it's what I do. Like I said, I ain't a saint, but at least I'm honest about my failings. So he's admitting that in this moment with all this stuff going on, he's not like worried about people or trying to help others. He's just like crying like a baby is what he's saying. And he's not even that hurt, but that's just kind of his initial reaction. Stretch. Stretch, that's the name of the giraffe. Slowly, with some difficulty, Stretch peers down between his two front legs. His body partially shelters me from the rain. A piece of canvas has draped itself around his neck like an ugly scarf. I swallow my howls. We look at each other, too stunned to form actual words. Finally, Stretch clears his throat. Hello? He says in a strangely calm voice. What kind of animal might you be, if you don't mind my asking? Dog. Didn't think you guys flew. We don't, as a rule. I pick myself up, move out from under Stretch, and take in my surroundings. The pelting rain has slowed some, and the wind has dulled. What was that? Stretch asked, trying and failing to yank the canvas off his impressive neck, so he's trying to get something. A tornado, I think. I've seen tornadoes on the Weather Channel. They looked like water swirling down a drain, if the water were black and full of trucks and trees. They looked like death. I gaze up at him. I have to crane my neck. You okay? Yep, says Stretch. But from what I can see, a lot of other folks aren't. Aardvarks. Across the way I hear something, a small squeak. Who lives over there? I ask Stretch. The Aardvark family, he replies. Lovely neighbors. Carefully, I venture across Stretch's domain. The sky is dark as dusk. I hear a flutter of wings overhead. It's Mitch, the mockingbird. He's missing some feathers. Bob, he calls, settling on a fence post. What was that I saw up there? Oh, no, sorry. Was that you I saw up there? Yep. How are things looking? Not good. Lot of damage. Well, take care of yourself, I say. Likewise. He pauses to straighten a wayward feather. Little hint. By the way, next time you fly, try flapping your paws. Imagine a dog. I make my way over a broken wooden barrier, tiptoe over some scattered glass and twisted metal, cross the paved path, and arrive at the aardvarks. More sounds. They're coming from what looks like a demolished keeper's shed. I hesitate, not sure what to do. It's a big mess and I'm a small guy. Also, my head hurts. I feel dazed, fuzzy. My ears are ringing. I yank off some small, stray boards with my mouth. For the record, small, stray boards have small, stray nails in them. Underneath the boards are 3 shivering aardvarks, 2 babies and a mom. They're strange looking, I gotta say, with their long, piggy snouts and bunny ears. You good? I ask. What was that? The mother manages to ask. Some seriously bad weather. Is it over? I consult the wind. Doubt it. You think everybody's okay? She asks. Dunno, sure hope so. And then it hits me. Ivan, Ruby, Julia, George. Look, I gotta go, I say in a strangled voice. Any part of your indoor den survive? Think so, she nods. Go there, lie low. Where's Pedro? The littlest aardvark says. I feel my head with a front paw. A nice bump is forming. Who's Pedro? Our keeper. He'll come, I promise. Are you sure? The baby asks. I'm sure, I say, but of course, I'm lying. Sounds. The eerie quiet doesn't last. Before long, the squeals and shrieks and brays and squawks of the animal kingdom crowd the air. Terror, confusion, pain. From far off comes the wailing of sirens, car alarms blare from the parking lot, and now and then people shout. Cries for help translate into any language, human or animal, fish or fowl. Never want to hear those again. Never. Ever. Smells. And the smells, like I said, feelings have a scent. I figured I'd smelled pretty much everything there was to inhale in this old big old world, but the smell of sheer terror. Of helplessness. Of blood. Of broken bones. Of torn wings. Well, turns out there are a whole lot of smells I've never encountered. Didn't know how lucky I've been. Surveying the damage. I pick my way past the devastation. The tornado has left a random path of misery. The African aviary is gone, simply gone. The kids' farm nearby, untouched. Although there are some very flustered chickens, clucking like all get out from the safety of their hen house. I see few people. Hopefully, a lot of potential visitors were scared off by the threatening weather. It looks like some of the animals listened to their early warning systems, those little voices inside telling them something bad was coming their way. Quite a few seemed to have taken cover before the brunt of the storm. Wish I'd paid more attention to my own internal weatherman. I pass the penguin viewing window, the one that allows visitors to watch their graceful swimming. Several penguins are underwater, swooping and swiveling. Joe, Jim, I call, and they both swim over. Bert okay? I ask. Baby Bert pops his little head out of the water. Hey, Bob! Did you know we're having a storm? Yeah, I noticed. All good here, Bob, Joe says. You? Yep, took a little flight, though. Daddy, says Bert, can I fly? In the air? Nope, says Joe. You fly underwater. You're a penguin. Bob flew. And he's a dog. Bob flew. And he's a dog. Bob is a very special dog, said Joe. And he gives me a look, a grown-up, just between us look that says, we're all right, but what about the others? Oh my gosh. I just love how much Bob knows all the different animals and can come up and be like, where's the baby penguin? And then there's the baby penguin. The baby penguin knows Bob. Like, I just love this relationship. The next chapter is called Baby Sloth. I say goodbye to the penguins and continue on my way. So much has simply vanished. Walls, fences, barriers, netting. The orderly road to the park with its careful lines defining territory isn't so defined anymore. Many of the habitats are still entirely intact, but not all. What will this place be without fences and walls? You didn't need to watch the Nature Channel to know that certain animals like to eat other certain animals. Oh my gosh. I passed 2 squirrel monkeys swinging happily from the children's carousel. A pelican watches from her perch on a popcorn stand. Pelican chilling on the popcorn stand. I see a camel and a zebra together, looking stunned to be standing side by side. I noticed a red lemur, Merlin, on a picnic table. Lemur eyes are always big, if you ask me, but Merlin's eyes look like they're about to pop right out of his head. I make my way through splintered wood and glass shards, and approach the gift shop. It's roofless. Stuffed toy animals are scattered here and there like they tried to make a break for it. Like the stuffed animals were trying to run away because they were just everywhere. An I Love Koalas t-shirt dangles from a tree branch. Around a corner I see a baby sloth. Sylvia, I think her name is. She's resting on a muddy plush giraffe. Hey there, I say. She makes a tiny noise. A sloth sob, I guess it is. Let's find your mom and dad. I'm not one for hugging and licking and such, but I give her a little nudge with my nose. Sylvia somehow manages to grab the giraffe, then looks up at me like she expects to hitch a ride. Yeah, sloth's kind of slow moving. How the heck do you pick up a baby sloth? It's not exactly part of my job description. And sloths are so, slothy. Carefully, I pick her up by her scruff, the way you do with a puppy. She puts that silly toy in her mouth, and off we go. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at this picture. There's Bob with the baby sloth, and the baby sloth is holding on to a stuffed animal giraffe. Takes a few minutes, but I find her mom, Selma. I deposit Sylvia on a patch of wet grass. How can I thank you? Selma cries. No biggie, I say, and I head on, with fear in my belly and the odd taste of sloth fur in my mouth.